Good morning. Thanks for joining us for our gentle restorative yoga class. I'm going to put some China gel over here. But take a moment, get yourself all set up, find a seat, and then just be still for a moment. Arriving to the practice. As you take your seat, press down, extend up, creating space in the spine. Remember to support yourself completely. So if the knees aren't touching the floor, you'll bring the floor up to you by using any kind of props that you have. The important part about this practice is that you support yourself by using the props. And by doing so, you will not lose flexibility. In fact, you'll gain more flexibility by supporting the body, that it will begin to trust us and start to let go. And then we can start to remove, just moving slowly. It's like a dance with yourself. So allow yourself time to support yourself in every way that you need to. This experience is all about you. As you press your seat down, noticing the pressure on each side. And if you favor one side, be sure to rebalance yourself so that it's even. As you press down through your seat, extending up through the crown of the head, creating a traction almost in your spine where you feel yourself anchored and lifting. Then creating that space allows space for your lungs to receive the breath. As you exhale everything out, the next inhalation through the nose, just take the deep breath in, fill your lungs, and then slowly allow yourself to exhale. You may even want to open your mouth on these first few exhales. When you draw the breath in, draw it in through the nostrils. And then when you open your mouth, exhale and just let it go. And if you find a sigh in there, allow yourself to let that sound come out. And just kind of washing away everything so that you can be present right here, right now. Again, drawing the breath in through the nostrils, opening your mouth and just sending it all out. Be sure that you empty it completely before you draw the next breath in through the nostrils. And when you're feeling right about it, then close your mouth and exhale through the nostrils. After your next exhalation, inhaling through the nostrils, feel just the belly rise, the belly expand, the belly expand, the belly expand, hold it there. And as you exhale, exhaling, exhale, exhale, navel toward the spine, but soft in the belly. Next inhalation through the nostrils, feeling the belly rise. Feel the rib cage in the front, the sides expanding as you draw the breath in. And then as you exhale from the side ribs into the front ribs, into the abdomen, exhale all of the air out. Inhaling through the nostrils, feeling the belly rise. Feel the rib cage expand in the front, sides, and now the back side of your rib cage expanding in its fullness. And then as you exhale from the back ribs, side ribs, front ribs into the belly, exhale, exhale, exhale out. Next inhalation through the nose, feel your belly rise, feel the rib cage expand, front, sides, all the way up into the chest, feel the expansion, hold it. And then as you exhale from the top of your chest into the ribs, knitting closer together, into the navel moving toward the spine, empty the vessel. Inhaling softly but fully, belly rising, ribs expanding, chest lifting. Be aware that you're inhaling in, and then as you exhale out, exhale from the chest, the ribs, the belly, and feel the complete empty. Soften your breath, draw it in through the nostrils, moving it through the three parts, belly, ribs, chest, exhaling, chest, ribs, belly. We'll draw our hands into the heart center, and as you press the palms into one another, we'll start our practice with an Om together. You'll set your own intention for this practice. So take a deep inhale. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life create happiness in their life. As you bow your head to your heart center, take a moment and set your own intention. As you draw this intention into your heart, whatever it is that you need or whatever it is you'd like to offer, then release your hands onto your thighs, lift your chin. You can keep your eyes closed, just taking a moment, extending your arms out, pressing through your seat. Inhale, reach and stretch it all the way up. And then slowly right out through the fingertips, exhaling, exhale, exhale, out and down. Here we go again, even deeper this time. Stretch it even more. Fill it through your fingertips as you reach it up. And then exhale out and down all the way. Empty the vessel. Here we go. Inhale, reach and stretch it all the way through the fingertips. This is the biggest one yet. And then slowly exhale, exhale, all out and down. Leaving the left hand on the floor alongside of the hip. Inhale, right arm up alongside of your ear, but drop the shoulder away from your ear. As you exhale, leaning over to your left side, feel yourself pushing your right knee out and away, reaching out through the right fingertips. You should be aware of a stretching sensation in the entire right side of your body. Take your chin out of the chest. You may even want to gaze up at the top arm. Feel yourself reaching and stretching. There's a point when you might hold your breath. You back off just a little bit. Be sure that you're sucking air in and out, pressing through everything you have. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, the right hand to the floor. Inhaling, left arm up alongside of the ear, but slide the shoulder blade down. And then as you exhale, over to your right side. So now push your left knee out and away. As you push the left knee out and away, reaching out through the left fingertips, feel the entire left side of your body stretching. Remember to take the chin out of the chest, to lean back even so slightly, taking the left shoulder back and the right shoulder maybe forward, but still sliding the shoulder blades down the back, pressing down through everything that you have. Use your left arm to reach it back up. Exhale the left hand to the floor. Right hand goes to the left leg, left hand goes back behind you, but I'm still pressing evenly in the seat. Press down, inhale, create length. As you exhale, begin twisting to the left. Feel it through the low belly, through the midsection, into the upper chest, bringing your chin as close to your left shoulder as possible. Every inhale, feel yourself getting taller. Every exhale, taking the twist a bit deeper. In your mind's eye, guide whatever your intention is. Is this for spinal flexibility, for wringing and washing out toxins in the abdominal area? What is it that you need today? And bring that into mind. Feel yourself getting this deep twist, and in your mind's eye, just think of it as some sort of squeezing out and releasing negative energy. Inhale, look forward, and as you exhale, releasing that clean blood flow coming through. Left hand to your right leg, right hand back behind you, pressing through both sit bones evenly. Inhale, create the length in the spine. As you exhale, begin twisting to the right. Low belly, midsection, upper chest, gazing out over your right shoulder. Bring your chin as close to your right shoulder as possible, but keep sliding the shoulder blades down the back. Notice the difference between the side you did before and this side in your physical body. Where do you feel the sensations as they're different? Every inhale, breathe it in, get taller, take that squeeze just a little bit more, detoxifying. Then inhale, look forward, and then as you exhale, you bring it back in, and here's your blood flow. A forward fold, but remember, you're paying attention to your knees. You're paying attention to your body in every way, and you're trying to get the body to trust you. So if this is unpleasant in the knees or back or somewhere, then back off just a little bit and give yourself support. Then you can bow your head. You can just allow yourself to let the frontal lobe of your brain drop now. You don't need to think, you just need to get connected internally. Just allow yourself to let go with every exhale. Feel the muscles of your face soften. Flubbing your lips is always a good idea. You see, it's hard when I first start, tension holds in your face. Pressing your hands into the floor, lift your head and chest, exhale, we'll slide it back just ever so slightly, bringing the hands back behind you. I'll lean back and that'll help me release my legs and extend them out. Once I extend the legs out as I lean back, I'm just going to take a moment and get some movement into the ankles, rolling through the ankles. Point your feet and toes, flex your feet and toes, point, flex, just getting that blood flow in, right? And then we're not going to go back and do it again. We're going to keep moving on to other poses. So I'll have you coming onto your hands and your knees. And on the hands and knees, I have knee issues. So I'm going to speak to that a little bit today. When I'm on my hands and knees, I sometimes will need to pad up my knees so that the boniness of them doesn't hurt. So I can place a blanket right under me. I have my toes curled under, my hands underneath my shoulders, knees are hip bone distance apart. So once you get here, think about like a massaging your own spine, but you're going to lead with your tailbone. As you inhale, lifting your seat up, tailbone lifts up, bring your chest forward and then belly toward the floor, arching the back. As you exhale, bring the head in, but you're starting with the pelvis. Start bringing the pelvis and the head toward the center. And then by pushing the floor around your upper back like an angry cat. Okay, here we go. Inhale, rolling through the spine, slowly lifting, arching. And as you exhale, head comes in, pelvis comes in, push round and squeeze it all out. Again, inhale, lifting the head, chest, seat up, arching the back. Exhale, head comes in, pelvis comes in, press round and squeeze. Inhaling your spine into a neutral. Neutral, but not the belly sag. So you're drawing your belly button up toward the spine, you're reaching your tailbone down, and then when your hands press into the floor, you broaden your chest. So you're sending your seat back and your heart forward, and it feels nice and open. Then I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to move it 1 hand distance forward. Perfect. Then right palm facing in. Inhale, sweeping the right arm up, twist your torso as you gaze up at your right hand, but pull the left hip back at the same time so that you're getting the twist in the spine. As you exhale, bring the right hand down and put it in line with the left hand. You moved that one up, right? Inhale, sweeping your left arm up. Let's do this side. And so I'm lifting my right hip up, pulling that back as my left arm goes up. And I want to make my spine long as I twist. So everything is connected. And as you exhale, bringing the left hand down. Don't forget to use your breath. Here we go. Right palm sweeps up. Get the twist in the spine, elongating your spine as you do this. As we exhale now, we're going to thread the right arm underneath the left, coming onto your right shoulder. So what's important about this is that my shoulder is not by my knees because that'll hurt my neck. I've got to move my shoulder up away from my hips, the back of my right arm into the floor, and then you put little spidey fingers on your left hand. Now, lead with your tailbone. Tailbone goes up and back, spreading the seat. Good. If it's available and it's not on your neck, sweep the left arm up to the sky. Now you'll get this by pushing the right back of your hand into the floor, pull your left hip back in space, reach your tailbone back. If it's available to you, you're going to turn your left palm backwards, the one up in the air, and then you'll bend the left elbow. And I'm going to reach in for my right inner thigh around my back, but I may not be able to grab it. So what I'll do is I can have the back of my left hand on my low back. And then by pushing everything I can, rotate the shoulder open. Good. And then inhale the left arm up. Exhale the left hand to the floor. When you're ready, push down, inhale, take your right arm out, coming back to hands and knees.
Oh, I can't do that.
That's okay. Take your time. There it is. Good. And breathe. Wow, got lots of blood flowing there. Good. Now, here we go. The left arm is going to sweep up like we did the twist. Now, when you exhale, you're going to bring it as close behind the right wrist as possible, bringing the left shoulder down. But then you want to take a moment to take your seat back so your hips stay over your knees. Good. But weebles wobble and they don't fall down.
Except for when they do.
It's all good. It's all good. And then sweeping the right arm up. And then breathing into that. Beautiful. That's a beautiful variation of it. Yes. And right here. There you go. Just getting the twist. Oh. Any pain in it?
No, just
Good. Be free. And then, so you're gonna turn your palm, the top arm palm backwards, then bend at the elbow. Then you're gonna push the back of your hands wherever it reaches. Then you're gonna push down through your left arm. Stay there, go lengthen your spine, move your chest forward and rotate this open. Yes, do you feel that? The back of the hand helps you open your shoulder.
but I'm losing my knee grip.
And then you inhale, sweep your arm up to the sky. Exhale, bring the hand back down. You ready? Inhale, and as you exhale, bring it up. Perfect. That was great. And now
You're lying. That was not great.
do a few cat-cow poses. A cat-cow where we inhale, lift your head, chest, seat up. Exhale, head comes in, pelvis comes in, push round and squeeze. So just a few more of those. Inhale, exhale. And once you do a few of those, then you're going to kind of come back onto your knees. Hopefully they are supported there. And I'm going to bring a bolster out. So if under my bolster, I'll put a block. And the block can go many different levels, higher, medium, low, but the idea is working on a child's pose. But you have to, I remember I said I have knee issues. So what I'm gonna do for myself, if I have a knee issue, is I'm gonna roll some hand towels and I'm gonna dig them in right behind my knees. Then knees apart, big toes together, sit back onto your heels. One second, wait, go forward. Just like this is what I do, and go forward, just on both.
Okay.
This creates some space. Is that okay to sit back? Okay, once you sit back onto your heels, keep your hips at your heels, and then you're gonna lay down and see where the block is. You can slide your arms under the bolster. And that gives you a little huggy and breathe. So once you take your child's pose, that's it. What's beautiful about this practice is that it's not a lot of doing. You get there and then you just hold and allow yourself to breathe, drawing breath in and exhaling it out. And your goal is that just keep your seat moving towards your heels and elongating the spine, maybe finding some relief in the low back. Now, this relief in the low back is not worth it if your knees are miserable.
No.
So just, yeah, you have to evaluate each pose for yourself and for what's currently going on, and take any variation necessary so that you can get the benefits of the pose and not injure yourself. So just a few breaths here where you feel the belly pressing into the bolster. And then as you kind of settle into this child's pose, can you feel some release, some sort of letting go where it's not a struggle, not any work, but you're just kind of in this pose, feeling a little more spacious with each passing breath. Every time you exhale, you get a little more space inside of yourself. Now, child's pose is very protective for us. We can feel safe in the child's pose. It is a forward fold, and the forward bending, it turns your energy inward, and it takes us into our past teachings and how to resolve old issues by letting go of negative emotions that become trapped in the hamstrings, hips, and the back. So if you have an intention in mind when you're moving through your practice of letting go of these tensions that are stuck in our physical body, with every exhale, you just feel a little more spacious and letting go. After your next exhalation, you're very slowly gonna sit back up if you can to get off of that. That's a pose I feel like I could be in for a really long time. I'm gonna place my bolster over to the side. Everything off the mat. And so just like you have your mat there, if I start in hands and knees, I want to bring my right foot forward. So can I get my right foot forward? And then I'm going to have my right hand on my ankle and I'm going to like manhandle, woman handle this ankle. And then we also have blocks where we could bring the floor up to you. If I needed to, I would, or if I wanted to have some sort of blocks, I would be using matching blocks, of course. But that will allow me to bring my hips down a little bit.
Okay.
But, and just breathing. And the idea is the back leg that you would eventually let the back leg move back just a little bit more. So, okay, find your place. Like how much support do you need to bring the floor up to you? Then I'm going to take the right block in my right hand and I'm going to start ooch, scooch my right foot over wide so I can bring that same block on the inside of the right foot. Yeah, good. And just going to kind of shift your hips side to side and breathe. Now, think about where do you feel this one? Where would you feel this pose? And you know, you're taking a moment and just kind of absorbing. And if it's like on your back kneecap, well, then that's something that we want to put a blanket under something, you know, so that doesn't call your attention. But what muscles do you think you feel this in? So we're left front hip. And that is, you know, a place where we hold tension or stress because when we're under the fight or flight, that's, you know, helps us run fast and move. So we store quite a bit of energy in there. And right now we're just slowly stretching that out. It doesn't have to be contracted and be on all of the time. So this will then allow the anxiety to wash out of your body. As you begin to stretch that, breathe into it, but be gentle. If there's any more space that you can make at this point, you would move your back knee back further away or bring your front knee more in front of your toes instead of just keeping the foot where it is, and see if you can't bring the knee in front of your toes. We can do this, the knee in front of the toes, because the back knee is down and it's not weight bearing right now. Then just to help your knees out, lift the right toes only, turn the toes out to the right, and then let your knee flop open. So draw your right heel back a little bit, Deb. Draw the right heel back in towards you. Take the foot closer to your body. Slide your right foot closer to you. There you go. And then let yourself roll out to the right outer blade. Just kind of let, yeah. And then bring your hips closer to the floor and your heart through.
Okay.
This is such a great pose. It's dynamic for sure, though. And just breathing. This is a nice right hip opener. You feeling that? Okay. Now I'm going to shift. I'm going to push my hands into the floor, shifting my weight toward my back knee so that I can then slide my right foot back. Excellent. And then two sides. Left foot comes up, reach, grab your ankle, bring the foot forward, then blocks as needed, and just be here for a moment and just go, whew, different. So we'll tend, if we're tight in the right front hip, we'll tend to bring the knee in closer. But goal is to get the back knee further away. And then I'm going to give you a little tip here for that knee, the back knee. I take my knee a little further away, but I don't want to be on the kneecap. So what I do is that the knee's pushing down and then I slide forward onto the flesh above my kneecap. And then that takes away a lot of that discomfort, right? And that discomfort will keep me away from the benefits of what this pose has for me. And just breathing into that, inhaling and exhaling. Notice where you feel it and just breathe into that. But always taking care of yourself. patting the back knee should you need it. And then I'm gonna take my left hand, if there's a block over here, I'm gonna lift it up and scoochie the left leg over, left foot over to the left. Then I'll put my hand back down. Now my hands and wrist are underneath my shoulders. And I just kind of go side to side. You're just like, hello, hips, get in there, get some mobility, a little shifting, but always support it. Then I'm going to lift the left ball of the foot so that I can turn the left toes out. And then as I bring my hips closer to the floor, flexing let the foot even open up. Yeah. And just breathe. You get some mobility in there, as long as it's not hurting your knee. And so when we turn the foot out, typically that will help the knee not feel it so much. And just breathe, right? This is all about experiencing what's in the pose for you today without making judgment, but we are getting some openness. Now, a lot of times we would go into a pigeon pose, but with knees, I don't want to do any weight bearing like that. So we're going to do our variation of pigeon pose. However, Tracy, if you wanted to do, we're going to bring the left foot back. I'm going to be doing the variation where we're going to lay on our back and do a pigeon without the weight. You and I, Deb, are going to do that. So you'll lay on your back. Tracy, if you don't have any issues here, you would scooch the right foot over. You'll bring the right foot forward first, and then bring your shin parallel with the front of your mat, placing the knee down behind your right wrist, and then you scoot your back leg back. And so that's your pigeon, but weight bearing. When we're protecting our knees and protecting ourselves, you'll lay on your back, your feet are hip bone distance apart, so you can choose either one. Crossing the right ankle over the left knee, then drawing the left knee up into your chest. Now, I'm going to take the right ankle foot and see if there's a way I can place the outer blade of my right foot to the crease of my left hip, left elbow, wrapping around, holding on to a baby.
No, that's not.
That's fine. So so any variation, the left knee in, as long as you're feeling a right hip opening, being where you are, whatever it takes to get the right hip opening, and breathe. Inhaling and exhaling.
And I feel that. I mean,
That's all that you need to feel. So then we do the foot flex. Remember the push out the ball of the foot to knee push. Yeah, that will change the knee experience. And then your own elbow goes lower. Yeah, and it's doing that. And breathe. So this is a pigeon pose, a hip opener. If you're in the floor version of this, you can crawl forward and lay down now. But just as long as you're getting this right hip, right buttock stretch, and the extended leg, the left leg for those of us on the floor in pigeon, half pigeon, you would get a stretch in the left front hip. So then, yep, and breathe. Good. A few more breaths here. And then whatever variation you have taken, you will come out. And so those of us on our back will uncross the top foot and then place both feet onto the floor and just be there for a moment. Those of us in the full pigeon, the hands come under the shoulder, you curl your back toes under, you press it, take your right foot back to your knees, and maybe get yourself a little down dog stretch, bringing the left knee up, shin as parallel with the front of the mat as possible, crossing, if you're laying on your back, you're crossing your left ankle over, flexing your left foot strongly. Be sure to bring your right hip forward, getting the hips level. If you're on the floor, inhale, and as you exhale, I help crawl myself down. Maybe rest the forehead and breathe. If I am laying on my back and I'm I just want to really concentrate on the flexing of the foot, pushing out of the ball of joint of the left big toe. So there's a couple ways I could do this. I could also take the left ankle, place the outer foot into the crease of my right elbow, then hold on to this like a little baby, the right foot onto the floor, maybe a little side to side motion. Maybe I would get to the point where I could extend the right leg out, but it looks a lot like pigeon, just a different variation. And this is a safe way for your knees not to have the full weight of your body resting on that and putting all that pressure on your joints, right? Because the purpose of this class is taking care of yourself, push them out the way. Yeah. And then chest broad, let your shoulders rest. Yeah, that's it. You can just do like these little things. And breathe. So again, always for yourself, you're comparing right side versus left side and just saying, hey, what's the difference? Noticing, you're getting to know your body. And this is so important to be in tune with your body and the messages it's sending you. Just take a moment here and breathe. We're almost done on this pose. And then if you're on the floor, you'll slide your hands back. If you're laying on your back, you'll begin to uncross your legs and putting the feet back onto the floor. But from here, I'm going to curl my back toes under, and then I'm going to do like a little bit of a push-up. It's a lot of effort to bring the knee back. And then from the hands and knees, maybe curl the toes under and then do your little down dog here. Breathe, and then bring the knees back down. And then those of us on the back are going to roll over to their side. Actually, you're going to stay on your back if you're already laying on your back, and then we are going to lay on our backs, bending the knees, bring the heels in close to your buttocks, and then you're going to bring your feet like prayer hands together and the knees just open wide. Yeah. And just breathe here for a moment, placing your hands onto your belly. Allow yourself to close your eyes and just simply breathe in, feel the belly rise. And then every time you exhale out, exhale and just let the inner thighs feel a little softening. Breathing in and exhaling out. So now it's you and your breath. You'll feel every inhale where the belly is just rising up, filling up, and with every exhale, softening and exhaling it out and down. And as you stay here for a few moments, you'll feel your shoulders start to soften and relax. Let yourself be supported, just laying back. And with every exhale, feel your inner thighs starting to release and let go. As long as your knees are not feeling it. Just breathing into this. Sometimes what I do energetically, and it's an isometric movement, is to reach my tailbone toward my heels, and that makes a little more space in there. And it's just you and your breath. This is a complete front body opener. So allow yourself to breathe in and exhale out. Just a few breaths, you and your breath, being aware that each inhale, this may be the deepest breath you take all week. So really allow yourself the fullness of each breath, taking the time to inhale with awareness and then exhale completely. Few more breaths, inhaling and exhaling. After your next exhale, you'll gently slide your hands to the outer thighs and then help your knees come back together again so that your feet are on the floor and you're just laying there. take a moment here to hug your knees into your chest. Just give yourself a good hug in. And breathe. Now, I will have you roll over to sit up, and so that you can see this. This is going to require maybe a rolled up blanket and a bolster. So let me show you where we're going, and then you can decide what you need. But I want something for underneath my knees. And this pose is very important that I start with my knees bent. I have a bolster here. Oh, and then if I have tighter shoulders, I want to take care of myself, and I'm going to have something waiting for my head. But I'm going to get this like massive arch in my back. Arms out. This is a huge bolster, so it just depends. If I have the block here, I can bring it to where my chin's lining up with my chest, the arms out to the side, palms up. Now, if I can handle this and the arch isn't too great hurting my back, I can then begin to extend my legs out. Having the rolled up blanket underneath the knees keeps a slight bend, but allows you to open up your chest. And breathe. That's it. Beautiful. And let's see if we go. And then scoot your hips down to the block. Okay. Let your feet just fall out to the sides, and hopefully your chest is open, broad, and you allow yourself to lay back. This is a beautiful pose for if you felt just blue, a little bit of heavy. Don't even know why sometimes, but just have this little heavy feeling on you. This can just open up the heart and chest. It allows the breath to move in, and just the physical posture alone helps fight off the blues. It's a heart opening, heart expanding. And when we're not feeling our best, we tend to close our chest, close our heart, shoulders slouch forward. So this is offsetting that. So even if your emotions don't feel happy or joyous at the time, if you take a pose like this where you just open up your heart and allow yourself to get stretching in the front of your chest, your mood starts to follow. So if we're chronically slouching, you're going to be chronically kind of closed up. Allow yourself to feel the openness of this posture, of the heart, but not at the expense of your low back. So remember that you've got to keep reaching your tailbone away. If you need to get the pelvic tilt in there, feel free to do that. But this is more upper chest opening, getting some flexibility in there. Every inhale, you're taking the breath into any area that feels uncomfortable or any kind of sensation in your physical body. You're guiding the breath into there. And with every exhale, you just send away whatever's holding back. Let that kind of clear out. So when we move through postures quickly, you don't get this part of it. You don't get this where your body starts to get familiar with the pose and then starting to trust that you have the support beneath it and won't hurt it moving too quickly. And it can start to soften and let go. There's a certain amount of trust that we have to bring back into our physical bodies because we just push ourselves so much without thinking sometimes. So the slowing down, breath easy. Even allow that space behind your forehead just to soften up. There's no thinking necessary. It's really feeling. You don't have to identify whatever it is that you're feeling uncomfortable in. Just let that go. It's beyond your thinking mind. Just feel this posture open up. And the breath moving in and exhaling out. This is a form of backward bending, back bends, which help us move forward into the future with grace and freedom, not only by relieving tightness in the thighs, abdomen, chest, throat, and face, but also by relieving related fears and other negative emotions that can be held in those areas. So this is just clearing out an energetic something. If something feels a little stuck, it could be, a blockage in the energy in that particular space. We just allow ourselves to think of that space, to be kind to that space, and to move gently, breathing in and exhaling out, because wherever your attention is focused, that's where energy will flow. With every exhale, give yourself a little bit more permission to settle in, to lay back. Just heart open. If it feels good to you, maybe even getting a little more openness in the throat. Just imagine the throat space area being bathed in the color blue. Just imagine there's this like healing blue that comes over the throat. And if you like to envision things, maybe this green that goes around the chest and heart area, heart space. Those would be the healing colors in those particular areas. So every time you exhale, just let those colors settle in if that's what you want to feel space.
I'm imagining that my head is being pulled up and away from the rest of my body. And that's making room for my throat too.
Isn't that wonderful? She said she's imagining that her head's being pulled away from her spine a little bit, creating this traction in space. And she does feel the space that's happening internally. That is so important, because if you think about how we stand in gravity, the effects of gravity alone, I know that I don't really lift up in the spine and create that space. I catch myself slouching a lot. So this is creating that space. Good. And then you'll start to bend the knees. If the legs are extended, just start bending the knees a little bit slowly, to where that you'll work your feet back to, if they're on a blanket, if your knees were on a blanket, put your feet on that blanket. If you're on a bolster, just kind of start to scooch that thing out of the way. Yeah. And just being there for a moment. Now we're going to be coming off of the bolster. It's a big drop. And so all you have to do is roll over to one side and then push out everything that's behind you, so that all you have to do is roll back onto it, lay back onto the floor. You can choose to keep the pillow for your head or not, but now you're just laying on your back, right? And then take a moment here to extend your legs out and arms extend over your head, and just get a little bit of a stretch in here. See how that feels. And then we always have straps nearby for us. The legs are extending out. It should be. I tell her that I should have straps, but here you go, right here. This is yours. I may have taken that. So if you have a strap handy, you may or may not need this, but you've stretched out in the arms and legs, then take your time to bend your knees, bring your heels back in toward your bottom. And then draw just the right knee up into your chest, interlacing your hands on the shin, just below the knee. Try to tack your right hip down, so moving the right hip bone away from your right shoulder as you bring your knee in. You see how that feels? The left foot is still on the floor. The left heel is in line with your left sits bone. Extending the right leg up to the sky. So like a little monkey, I'm going to climb up my right leg. I'm going to reach up my right leg. I'm gonna hold on to my right leg evenly. Then I'm gonna try to bring my shoulders down. And just breathe. You could be holding on to your knee. You could be holding on to your thigh. It doesn't matter as long as your chest is broad, your shoulders are down, and your arms are pulling on the leg. The leg is reaching up. Point your right toes, flex your right toes. Point, flex, ankle circles in one direction, then stop, ankle circles in the other direction, and then stop. Good, and then I'll bring my right knee back into my chest so that I can then take the strap, placing it onto the ball of the right foot, extending the right leg up, but I'm giving myself enough space on the strap to have a straight arm and a straight leg. So if your knee's not really straight, give yourself more strap. The foot doesn't have to be to the ceiling. And then really lock your right knee out the best you can, straighten it. That's it. And breathing into this. Now, if it's available to you at this point, you can ooch and scooch your left heel out and away, sliding it on the floor out and away from you, while you keep the right leg up in the strap. Yeah, that'll intensify the stretch, and just breathe wherever it is that you need to be. Then we'll think about opening the leg out to the right. So first take your left arm out, shoulder height, and place your palm onto the floor. You're extending your left arm out there. Now, with your right hand, turn the right toes out to the right. Then from there, see if you could take the right leg over to the floor, imagining that your toes would be coming close to your right shoulder. That at the same time, roll your belly buttons to the left. Push more in your left hand. Push your left heel, the extended leg, into the floor. Keeping those actions as the leg goes open to the right, it doesn't have to touch down to anything. Breathe into that, inhaling and exhaling. And then what I do here that really helps me is I think about extending my tailbone down. Breathing. And then I may gaze over to my left fingertips. Breathe. Then inhale, hoisting the left leg back up. Then you'll take your left leg and you're gonna your right leg and hold on to it. You're gonna lift up and try to kiss your knee. Kiss your knee with both hands holding the leg. Now, okay, and then kiss it, and then bend the knee, give it another kiss, and then out and down. That just squeezes the thyroid a little bit. I know, that was great.
Thyroid.
Let
There's
the
a girl somewhere in America named
thyroid.
Thyroid.
Let your toes fall out to the side, feel yourself belly breathing, inhaling and exhaling, and you just want to feel the difference. The right leg should feel significantly different than the left side. So then we move slowly, and so I'll bend my right knee, placing the foot onto the floor. I want my right heel in line with my own right sit bone. And then I'll drag the left leg back in, and that heel is in line with the sit bones. Good. And then keeping your right foot on the floor, let's draw the left knee up into the chest, interlacing your hands around the left shin, and just be here for a moment and breathe. Now, take a moment to bring your awareness to your hips and see if you can actually notice that when you brought your left knee up, you crunched your left side body. And then you consciously say, left hip bone move away from my left shoulder as I hold the knee in. So then that creates side body length. Then you'll extend the left leg up to the sky at whatever level it is. Then you want to slide your hands up, and I'm going to just reach up, grab onto my left leg, and by holding it, lay my shoulders back down. You have to be aware that your right knee is not splaying out, but the right foot's pressing into the floor too. And breathe here, point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, circle, one direction, stop, circle the other direction, and then stop. Then I'll bend the knee, bring the strap out. And so I'm working with the left leg, which means then my left hand is the only one holding the strap. When I hold the strap, I'm holding with the palm facing in, the thumb up, push the leg away, try to straighten your left leg, try to straighten your left arm, just holding the strap at whatever tension that you need, breathing, inhaling and exhaling. This is really good for your grip strength as well. You don't want to grip so tight that your knuckles feel really white, but just soft enough and enough to hold. If it's available to you, then the right leg will start to ooch and scoochy out in a way. It can stay bent, so at whatever level you need to be, take care of yourself in that way. Now, the left leg is super straight and strong, and I'm going to give myself enough strap. So if I have it right up by my toes by the strap and my knee is bent, I want to slide my hand away from the foot, still holding the strap, so that I could push the leg away and get straight and strong. The back of my knee, I want to lock the leg out. So it's still straight up in the air. It's being locked out and breathe. Now I'll turn my toes to the left. And then as I turn toes to the left, extend the right arm out, shoulder height with the palm down as your anchor. Inhale, and as you exhale, I'm taking the left toes, and in my mind's eye, I'd like to get as close to my left shoulder as possible. So I'm opening up my left arm and left leg out to the side, but at the same time, tacking the left hip down away from my left shoulder and moving the belly button to the right. So breathing into that, and you may want to even gaze toward your right hand. And then I also think about pushing my right heel into the floor, my right calf into the floor. When I anchor with those things, I won't roll over and I won't let the right hip lift up and away from the floor. So I'm definitely getting the stretch in here. This also mimics the leg portion of this and somewhat of the arms, a standing triangle pose. And we know how much stretch we can get from that pose, but this is non-weight bearing and you're still getting a lovely stretch from this pose. I feel like this is very helpful for any kind of tenderness in the back. Then when you're ready, by pushing your right heel and your right hand down, inhale, hoisting the leg back up to the sky. Then I'm going to take the strap off. I'm going to reach up there and grab onto the leg again with straight arms. So I may have to hold it at the knee or, just wherever that is with straight arms. Then pushing my right heel into the floor, I'm going to pull on the leg, bring myself up, see if I can't kiss my knee. Very nice. And then exhale, lay it back down. Then bending your left knee, bring your knee up into your chest, and then it deserves one more kiss. Give it a good kiss, feel the throat squeeze, and then exhale, extend the leg out, feet fall out to the sides, arms out to the sides, and just close your eyes and just let the energy flow through your body. Feel the belly rising with every inhale. When you exhale, feel the back body connecting into the earth. It just spacious and open internally. Just a few conscious breaths like that where you're feeling the belly rise, the fullness of each breath as you draw it in. Remember, your energy level rides on the breath. So be sure that you're circulating the breath throughout the body as much as possible so that you can get energy flowing through this body. Bending the knees, bringing the feet onto the floor. Cross your right knee over the left knee, crossing where there's no space in the upper thighs. I'll extend the right arm out to the side, shoulder height or higher. I can choose, if I want this more in my back, I would bring my knees into my chest. If I want this sensation in the outer right hip, I keep my left foot onto the floor. Wherever you decide to be, inhale, and as you exhale, left knee going over to, the right knee going over to the left side. You can gaze towards your right fingertips and breathe. So supine spinal twist. Again, if my knees are lower than my belly button, I should be feeling this around the IT band, the hip flexor, just all the outer hip. If I did it with my knees higher, that would move higher up into the back, less in the outer hips, more into the back. So just deciding where you need this and breathe. Ideally, your right hip would tack down and away from your right shoulder as it takes the twist.
Well, that's not happening.
It could.
No.
In my mind's eye, it happens. Just like, yes, beautiful. And then I really wanted to protect my low back. So I'm going to draw the navel to the spine first. Suck that in. Then inhale, knees and head back to the center. Then uncross the legs. I'm going to set the feet back down, hip bone distance apart. Then cross the left leg, left thigh over. Then extend the left arm out. Now that's going to be my anchor. The left shoulder, you want to keep that down with the palm facing up. And remember your options, knees up in the chest, above your belly button when they go over to the right side, or the foot stays down, you take your left knees over to the right side, different sensations, same pose, but just that little bit of movement of where your knees are placed will change the effect that you get on the physical body. What's beautiful about this practice is that you don't have to be told every second what to do. Sometimes you just got to connect in and feel what you need to do. Where does it need to happen for you today? You can make these poses personal for yourself. So allow yourself to breathe into that just enough to where you start to soften and get a little more space. That whatever initially when you went over, the resistance that you were feeling starts to subside because you just exhale and let it all go. That's really the important part, is being able to work with the poses within your own capacity of the day, right? It says nothing about who you are as a person, if you're more flexible or less flexible. It just, you're getting baselines for yourself, and this is your practice for you to get to know what's happening inside. And breathe. As you've spent some time in this posture, we want to protect our low back. So remember, draw the navel to the spine and hug that in first. Then you'll inhale, bring it back in, and that safety on your low back, uncrossing your legs, readjust your spine to neutral, hug your knees into your chest. You know, if it feels good for you, a little bit of variation of a shoulder stand. So here's your options. Elevating the hips higher than the heart, we would have the block to place under the sacrum. So this is one of the variations, to place the block under, and this is a shoulder stand variation with the legs up. I could, if I wanted to, without hurting my neck, is just see if it's available today to where I roll the legs back behind my head. But once you get the legs back, the toes behind your head onto the floor, you want to take time to interlace your hands, palms together, and then walking the toes further away. The idea is to get a little pressure on the front of your throat. So it doesn't matter which variation you choose. If you wanted to do the full shoulder stand, you would have the palms on the back, pinkies parallel, the legs up, and then stacking ankles, knees, hips, shoulders. So wherever you need to be. But if I were doing the full shoulder stand, I would typically have a blanket underneath. So I didn't get too much pressure on my neck. So wherever, we're not here too long. I just want you to be able to get the elevation of the legs, the drainage of the fluids, let yourself breathe. But shoulder stands really are one of the most restorative poses that you can do, as long as technique is good and that you're working with alignment. There is a settling in this posture that affects so much of our body. It affects the endocrine system, the organs. I mean, just think about, you're going against gravity in whatever that means to you. But it's allowing the fluid to drain in places that might be a little bit harder. If you think about it, how hard is it for the blood to return from your legs back to the heart? So every once in a while, giving yourself this little break from that can be so healthy. That's really good. So what?
I can feel it in my throat.
Yeah, you want that compression on the throat. So it's meant to bring compression into the front throat, but it's also meant for you to find like this peace with it. So it's not so much compression that it creates this anxiety, but it's enough compression that you're starting to kind of, and that's when you want to get right with your breath. You're getting a little bit more stressed. And with that compression, with the legs touching over to the floor, Halasana plow pose is meant to be a squeeze on the front throat, and hala is like the poison in there. So it's like squeezing, compressing that out, just the thoughts that we have, the words that we sometimes don't say, but want to, and they're not nice. Just allow yourself to get the compression, plus the thyroid with metabolism, right? So you're compressing again on this organ. And then once we start to release, so now you want to think about how you're going to roll out. So you place the hands onto the floor, palms down. If you're on a block, that was beautiful, Deb. If you're on a block, you put your hips back down to the block and bend the knees, put your feet onto the floor. Whichever way you're coming out, we're all gonna end up with us laying on our backs. And then take a moment, extend your legs, and then you're gonna be flat on your back, whether pick up the block and move it out. Just be there for a moment, and then more than likely you're gonna want to hug yourself. So, you have, more than likely you're going to want to, I love to hug myself when I know that I've completed the practice. And sometimes I didn't want to get there, and I could find every excuse not to show up. I've dragged my heels sometimes, but I've never been sorry for moving my body in a yoga practice, because what I feel afterwards is just so healing.
Yes.
All right, now we're going to start to get ourselves all snuggled up into, we want to open the throat real quick. So just a quickie on that. If you have your bolster, I'll keep my knees bent, but I just want to open up my throat just for a second. You could even do Shavasana in this way if you wanted to have the bolster under there. And then tip your chin toward the ceiling, and it just like flushes blood supply in there. So you decide, are you going to want the bolster underneath there, and maybe take Shavasana in that way? If I were going to do that in that way, I would probably have because our bolsters are so good, put your feet down first and you can sit. And then bending your knees. Does that feel like the way you want to do Shavasana? Okay. Or the way that you normally do it?
Let's try something different.
All right, so we're settling in for Shavasana. As you lay back and relax, the one thing is, people don't really realize how important Shavasana is and moving into the stillness. This is so important so that your body can assimilate the effects of the practice. So as you lay back and you settle in, be sure that you are supported in every way, that you feel comfortable, that you feel warm. I'm going to do some adjustments over here, but Shavasana, you want to not sleep. It's okay if you do nod off and take a little bit of a nap because you just might be just dang tired,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, it's whatever you need for this day without judgment. Like, you just show up and it is what it is, but you showed up, and that's the important part. However, if you can start to train yourself in Shavasana to stay present, stay aware, but you're going to allow the body, the physical body, to systematically relax. And you become aware of that relaxation as it washes over you without checking out, without going to sleep. So let your toes soften and relax. As the toes soften and relax, and you begin to feel the body settling in. There's nothing to do, there's nothing to fix. There is no right way, there is no wrong way. So you cannot do this wrong. Everybody is different. So feel the relaxation washing over you. Sometimes I imagine that I'm on the shore of a beach, and you know how the waves just keep coming in? I just feel the waves of relaxation coming over me. As I imagine the waves of relaxation coming over me through my legs, up my knees, into the thighs, into the hamstrings, into the hips, I allow my body to surrender into the relaxation. I feel the abdomen softening. In my intention, I want to allow every part of my physical body to rest. I imagine that my internal organs are getting a break at this moment. There's nothing for them to do. So allow everything to just settle in and melt toward the floor. You do nothing to hold yourself up, just let go. Heart soft, maybe even becoming aware of the pulsation of the heart beating. Just allow yourself to let go and do absolutely nothing, just simply observing. If thoughts come into mind, acknowledge and let it go. If you've ever laid back and watched the sky on a really, those puffy cloud days, that they just kind of keep going. With anything that comes into mind now that's affecting you from relaxing, acknowledge it and just let it go. Let it keep going. Let the clouds keep coming by. Chest, shoulders, arms. Surrender. Let them be heavy. Let them melt into the earth. And it's amazing when we allow our physical body to become heavy, what we feel is this light sensation in the front body. As you allow yourself to lay back and be completely supported, you'll feel this light openness within the front side of your body. Start to send your exhalations out through your fingertips. So you feel it through the palms, through the fingertips. Each finger gets an exhale. The breath is soft. It is just whatever it needs to be. But every exhale, you're consciously sending that breath out one by one. You stay with the breath from the moment you begin to exhale and trace it as it exhales through the fingertips. And then just in your mind, allow something to leave with it. Anything that's in your way. You've got to make space for things, for new experiences. sending everything out and away with the breath. Continuing to feel your physical body releasing into the relaxation, the arms, shoulders, neck, throat, and jaw, soft, soften. As you allow the upper teeth to separate from your lower teeth, and just let your tongue rest in the pull of the mouth, just soft. Feel all of the muscles in your face softening and just almost melting back. Everything wants to just release into the floor, pour yourself into the floor. Feel your eyes melt further back into their sockets. Feel the space in your ear canals soft. Stay conscious. Don't sleep. Be aware of this complete surrender to the relaxation. Start to bring conscious breath back into your body. Just begin to deepen your respirations, but slow down, slow down, slow down. Let yourself coming back into the present moment slowly. It's very important that you move slowly and allow yourself to just be aware that I'm breathing in. Feel the breath move in. I'm exhaling out. Feel the exhale, exhaling out. Continuing to draw each breath in consciously, each exhalation out consciously. Then you start to scan the physical body. You're feeling all the connections of the points to the earth. A little movement in your fingers, a little movement in your toes, just organic movement, what it is that you need as you re-emerge, because the person that you showed up as is not here anymore. What you re-emerge as is the new beginning that you get. And Shavasana is symbolic of the ending of the practice and the beginning of something new. Then you'll bend your knees, feet onto the floor. And if you're on a bolster, be very careful when you roll over to the side. There may be a big drop. Just allow yourself to come over and just kind of scooch those things out of the way. Laying on your side for just a moment. Just, it's like the real world's out there waiting for you. You don't have to rush. It'll be there right, pick up right where you left off, but in a different frame of mind. When you're ready, turning toward the floor, begin to press yourself up. But when you sit comfortably. It doesn't matter if the legs are extended out or the knees, whatever. Just allow yourself to take a seat for a moment. And when you do take your seat, it's a moment of appreciation of all the space that was created internally. And then also feeling where you are now, like, how do you feel now? And allow yourself to just be present with each and every breath, every inhalation, and every exhalation. With every inhalation, silently suggest let. With every exhalation, silently suggest go. Getting in the habit of inhaling let, exhaling go. At least 3 in your day. Inhale, let, and exhale, go. We'll draw our hands into the heart center, and as we press the palms against one another, concluding our class with the final Om, take a deep inhale to begin. Bowing your head to your heart center, just a moment. Acknowledge all the blessings in your life. Acknowledge all the beauty and the perfection that is within you. See that part of yourself. We look for light in all beings, and today we're so grateful to share each other's light with Namaste. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Tracy, I know that you may have gotten kicked out somewhere along the way. I'll send you a recording when I get this converted, if that's okay.
Got it. I got it. I just
Yeah.
missed going to the right to the side, so I got it though.
Okay,
Thank you
good.
so much.
Have a fabulous day. Thank you.